Hey everyone, welcome back to Bosses Coffee Talk, where we have conversations with the people building and running businesses in Singapore. So today's topic is something that I think a lot of us should know about or think about, but always push aside, right? Financial planning and legacy. So joining me today is Hock Beng, who is not only a financial planner and trainer, but also the author of Elements of Legacy, Holistic Estate and Legacy Planning. Now in Singapore, when we hear about financial planner, the first thing that comes to mind is insurance or investments, right? Or sometimes even comes with a bit of stigma, right? So from your perspective, how do you usually explain that what you actually do?
Yeah, it's true. Actually, everybody when hear from people from the life insurance investment, right? There's always concerns. But actually, what we really do is for the well-being for people. So actually, it's more the wealth management. It's not just selling life insurance and investment. So with the proper wealth management that you do, it not only for now, also for the future. So that will be, once people understand, I think they are not so worried about that advisors are coming to push the products, but to really show how to address their main concerns in their financial concerns.
But in your day-to-day life, I'm sure sometimes clients, they get very skeptical of FA.
Yep.
So how do you usually handle this kind of cases?
Usually, I will let them address their concerns. And usually I tell my client, I'm not here to sell you anything because I can't sell you anything at all unless I know your concern. Then only through the concerns that you have, then we will do the matching. I mean, if the products need to be bought, then it's your choice. And of course, it all depends on your affordability. I think that's very important. But what I think is most important is that a lot of advisories, the practice may not be holistic. So they may tend to push product rather than addressing the concern. So instead of doing that, you should be addressing the client's concern. Then after that, you try to do the matching accordingly.
So you agree that the stigma comes from non-holistic pushing?
Yeah. Sad to say that because probably the wrong practice. Anyway, I've been in this line for coming 28, 29 years already. So I do understand the concerns. Even I also have a client, also when I meet up with them, they also find that, okay, are you going to sell me any products? And I say, no. We are today addressing the concerns. I think that's very important. Once I know your concerns, then they'll be easier. But so far I talk about concern, why don't in a nutshell just say what type of concerns are most financial advisor or wealth management consultant can be able to help. Basically, there are three. Okay, live too long, die too young, okay, in a very crude way, all right? And then we are down with ailment, okay, injuries, all these things. So if these three concerns have been addressed, I believe that there will be a more holistic approach in a way.
There's always this saying that don't be an FA. You be an FA, you sure lose friends, right? Have you ever had a encounter like this?
Yeah, true. Way back when I was doing my NTU studies, I do have a bunch of friends. But because of finances, besides giving tuition, but I find it not enough, so I also went into the industry to self-finance my own education. Of course, after that, some of my friends start to know that I'm in a lie. I lost some of my classmates, all this, but it's okay. At least I know who is my so-called true friends. Okay, and over the years, I also have quite a fair bit of like-mindedness. And of course, my clients who believe in me, and they also have given words of mouth about my services, how I actually help them to build their wealth. Let time tells, I think that's it.
Right.
Alright, but main thing is that you make sure that you want to do good for another person. Then of course, at the end of the day, you meet like-mindedness. I think that's about it.
Yeah, and because FA is quite broad, right? So not only just insurance or investments, but for yourself, you're doing more of like legacy planning. Right? And for someone that is hearing this for the first time, what do you think is one thing about legacy planning that you think more people should understand about it earlier?
Currently, a lot of people talk about savings, wealth accumulation, investing. That is the wealth accumulation part. Of course, there will be another group we're talking about buying insurance, all these things is on the protection. But you accumulate for what? And you protect for what? There's no proper answer. So the why is not really in me. So this is where legacy come in. You get to understand the why you actually wanted to plan or even buy the plan. So it comes to a stage where there's a turning point where people need to start thinking about their legacy. And legacy is not about estate planning alone. If I simply put, estate planning is the tangible part of it. Legacy planning is the intangible part of it. So we need to match the concern that the client has and then actually equate with the money that they don't need to distribute to the loved ones according to their ability to handle the money. So I think it is the right time to talk about legacy, especially in Singapore context. A lot of people actually when they are living, they don't have much. But when they die rich.
So they bring money to the grave.
Yeah, correct. But they can't, okay. But they died wealthy.
So for the tangible part, it's more of like estates, right? So for intangible parts, what kind of aspects are you talking about?
That's a good question. Okay, let me elaborate on that. The intangible part is basically there's always the social aspect, the financial aspect, and the legal aspect of it. So If we talk about social aspect, that is your family dynamics. And of course, some parents, they might want to provide a bit more for certain children because they might not have the ability. And some of their children more capable, they're able to live on their own or know how to manage their money. So parents may have this concern. So that is the intangible part, just to give an example. Then of course, the legal aspect of it, we also need to know that whether the assets can be transferred just like that. Okay, we need to understand that. So there is this legal aspect of planning. And of course, last but not least, the financial, how much you want to give. And of course, the ownership must be responsible of using the money. I think that's very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then actually what happens, let's say someone doesn't have any sort of legacy planning.
In fact, put it very bluntly, everybody really have a succession act ready by default. Okay? We have a will by default. Okay, it's called the Singapore Intestate Succession Act. So even you don't plan, they will distribute accordingly based on the 9 rules. It's already planned for already.
But it's a fair distribution or there's some sort of criteria?
Okay, I wouldn't say fair. It depends on whether you like it. For example, let's say a young man doing capable and then got a wife and 2 children. And the man actually have aging parents. If he didn't do the will, so the default will really distributed for him already. If he pass on, the wife will get 50%. The minor, which is the children, not adult yet, will have another 50%. And this 50% eventually will be managed by the guardian, which is the wife, mother of children. But earlier I mentioned that this given man have parents. The parents don't get anything.
Oh, is it?
Yes, yes. That's the act. That's what I call default will.
Okay.
So if you don't like to see this, then we need to do some changes to it,
I see.
or update the will.
And there's also this very common saying in Singapore that says that many people are asset rich but cash poor. Do you think that's true?
Okay, because we love property, so all the money have been locked up in the property.
Or like the cars, that kind of thing.
Okay, a car is a depreciating asset. Okay, I also understand the younger ones also didn't really interested in buying cars. Not like our time, Gen X, Gen Y. But if they have family, they will want to have a car. Okay, because the convenience is there. Especially if the family, you have somebody with special needs. You even need the car more so because you have the transport is easier that way. So back to the question on asset rich, cash poor, all most of money are tied up to that situation. It is very real. So that's why we definitely need to manage our wealth. So it's not just about cash, but it's the holistic wealth concept that you need to plan. When I talk about legacy, it's not talking about death. It's also talk about living. But when you plan for legacy, you know how to live well because you know how to plan well after death. So it's a total holistic plan.
So you would say that more holistic financial situation cycle is more of like you have insurance, investment, and legacy comes in the end. So it's like preservation.
Yeah, correct. Because it's like we're talking about financial fitness. Once you financially fit, you fit to go and you fit to live So you actually are able to handle the both side. But at least you know that you are financially fit. I think that's very important. Anyway, a lot of people now talk about physical wellness. So it's as good as having a good financial wellness.
And given the current financial situation, do you see any sort of trends that are happening?
I think the youngsters now, I find that they know how to plan better. They also get a chance because there's many options. They get to see more things. But too many choices may not be good also. They may not understand all this because you need to know about the financial instrument. Then before you're able to make the decision to go on to build your financial wealth. So you need to do some studies. If not sure, always good to consult somebody that know the specific of assets for better and deep consultation. And the word is really deep, not just basic consultation, because it's our money and it's also a responsibility to make the decision also.
For younger people, how would then legacy planning really matter to them?
For the young one, I think first thing is that we owe our parents. Why I say that? Because they bring us up, and to be fair, it really should anything happen, the young ones kind of a retirement ATM for the family. For the parents, you get what I mean? Okay, but nowadays, the parents of this age, they are pretty well-to-do in their own planning, all this. Of course, may not need them, but I think it's still filial piety, need to pay back. That's one. Second thing is that at least don't die for free. Alright, what I mean that is that we must make sure that we understand our human life value. At least we know that how much we're worth, 1 million, 2 million. So if we really go off, then only few 100,000. I think it's not doing yourself good. So don't die for free.
But in that sense, how would the a healthy or good legacy planning will look like for an average person?
Oh, this one, everyone have different. So the most healthy as far as I see is that it triggers the real intention. And most important thing is that the resulting must be peace of mind. I think that is very healthy because everybody have different needs, different concerns. So that's why when I always relate to my client, right, I always ask what's their intention, what's the concern that they have.
You know, and also there's this like statistics that says that only about 39% of Singaporeans feel very confident about retirement. What do you think about that kind of statistics?
Yeah, some stats even higher than that. I think it's good that there are certain group of people very confident about it, and if they are very confident, I'm happy for them. But along the way, no matter how confident, we need to be relevant. I think that's very important. At that point of time, things changes. Like last time, many years back, we don't hear about digital assets, Bitcoin, but now some of them actually make use of these assets to be part of your portfolio. But the traditional building a good construction portfolio is also still useful for your retirement because it could be a core money. So we need to understand where's the core part and the variable part. So to build up a more holistic retirement plan for yourself. After whatever you have, then we see what can be done for your own legacy also.
So I think all along you've been talking about having a very solid plan is very important for holistic planning, right? But have you ever seen situations whereby like trying to protect everything actually created more problems?
Actually true. The reason is that this group of clients I also realized because they just want to plan but they did not see the consequences. Although planning do see the outcome, but they just want to plan and never take the consideration of the concern of the families that they have. They just take it on their own hand. Of course, being an advisor, we also advise them, also tell them that what would be the outcome be. But sometimes they want to go in their own way. So it's definitely a tall order. So it also takes another soft skill to manage this out client and then bring them back again. I do have client initially they plan the thing, so we don't disturb too much. But we did came back for review and then talk in a different perspective. They did came back and then we do some part of the not so ideal portion of the plan.
So you mean over planning can lead to repercussions or consequences even?
Yeah, correct.
Like, what kind of consequences?
Could I say selfish on one end?
Okay.
Means that I plan for you, but is it for the other person? It's not really okay, because after planning already, I also hear some beneficiary that came back and tell me that they didn't really feel it for them. There are many, may not be appropriate to mention here, but generally is that once we see something that is not so appropriate, right, we will just advise accordingly. But clients sometimes they just want to do it. I won't say their way they feel that this is the best for their family members.
So what do you then also think that there's one habit that you see happening that hurts people financially over time?
Procrastination. Tomorrow. Everything tomorrow. But I can understand that because we need a lot of consideration all this. So one of the ways is that when you need to do the planning, right, do give 100%, not half-hearted. But it's always take two hands to clap, and also depending on who actually doing it and who is actually advising. Can't be helped. This one, it will be ongoing. To me, I find it's a century-old issue. Everybody will say tomorrow.
And when you talk to clients about legacy, was there any kind of like common misconception that they usually have about it?
Oh, have. Every time they thought will is enough. Unfortunately, it's not enough. Sometimes will itself may not able to settle most of the things. But in a nutshell, there are about 5 instruments. We need to look at the AMD, Advanced Medical Directive. We also need to understand the lasting power attorney, now got Form 1, Form 2, the LPA. Then of course, we also need to know the ACP, but this is not a legal document. ACP is the one that on advanced care planning. Then of course, the fourth instrument is the trust. Okay, a living trust. And then last but not least will be the will. In fact, will should be the last one to do it after you plan the rest. Once you do the will, most people will feel that it's done already. They probably won't want to do the rest. So that's why that may have some cracks in the future.
So that's a standard SOP?
I won't say the standard SOP is a standard suggestion to go through that list. At least I will use that framework on my client advisory. Rather than they tell me, Beng, I want to do a will, then we just do a will. No, we can't, because it's very myopic. It's only one aspect of it. There may be some other concerns, especially if there are family members who are spendthrift. Will that giving out lump sum may not be appropriate. Then again, I don't want to give advice based on this, but this may be one of the situations. So we need to look at the whole thing holistically. Like earlier I mentioned, there's a framework based on legal aspect, financial aspect, and social aspect. There's a family dynamic. So once we understand all these things, we were able to craft up something for them. But to be fair, this is a long, tall order. So when we have this conversation, right, I always tell the client, be ready, I'll be touching in deep question and sensitive question. Only when you able to answer this question, then you probably get a good peace of mind legacy. Well done in a way.
But I think, for some Singaporeans, they find it a very touchy topic when it comes to like will planning and stuff like that.
Yes.
It's a very sensitive topic, right?
Correct. I agree. Totally agree. And it is very personal. And sometimes it's that I do not know you. Why should I tell you? There are so many things. That's why I think as an advisor in some, right, they must be learn their soft skill to be able to handle clients in this manner. But again, learning this soft skill itself without the technical expertise, right, is also not enough. So it's not easy for advisors to come in and talk about it. And of course, if they have experience, loss of pain in the family, they may able to understand better. That's an added advantage for the advisor. But there again, if your technical knowledge is not there, you're sometimes not able to correlate, commingle the hard facts and the soft facts together.
And so how would you advise these financial advisors that are watching right now? What is one kind of skill that they could adopt?
Actually, it's silent. You ask, you hear, the client need to be heard. But the question is also important. Listen to what the client wants and find out in between. Not easy. Okay, it take times. So need to do a lot of role plays with your mentor or your fellow colleagues. Then be critical about doing the role play. I think I find the word is actually empathy. You have to empathize the situation.
So empathy is a skill set that you will see that differentiates the great advisors versus...
I think it's more than just skill. It's also the values in it also. I mean, easy to say skill, but you have the skill, but you don't have that heart. No use on.
And also, coming to this session, I see that you have your new book called Elements of Legacy for Holistic Estate and Legacy Planning.
Yes.
So what kind of inspired you to write this book?
The one main trigger is actually the observing families that happening, passing down from their wealth generation to generation. Of course, I'm not that old, but I did see those that have wealth, but they did not manage properly. And the second or the third generation is gone off. But there are some that models well, but they able to bring the wealth to the next. So by having this situation, right, sometimes I also tell myself, it's not just the wealthy can do proper estate planning. The not so rich one can still be wealthy in their own way. And wealthy does not just mean financially rich. It also means that you are wise to do it, okay, mentally rich in that way. So richness not just talk about money only. You also talk about the culture, how you treat your families, how you treat other people, all these things.
So for those out there who has not read your book before, what is one key takeaway that you give it to them?
One key takeaway for this book, which I really hope is to start a conversation, a heartfelt conversation with your loved ones. Then I think this book has succeeded.
Okay, so thank you so much, Beng, for this very insightful discussion.
My pleasure.
And for those out there who is listening to this podcast, we hope that you have a lot of takeaways in regards to legacy planning.
Okay, to be fair, because DISC 每个人有一个 behavior， 因为我是 DISC coach 嘛，所以我已经懂了。Then I went further to learn about 这个 5 element. Every one of us 会有缺一些 element. So we need to be mindful which element 我们缺。So from that lagging off the element, we need to behave. Let's say for example, a person is water, but he don't have fire. So he need to be a water fire. I know it's very strange to say that, but he need to behave in that sense because fire is taking action. Water is feeling. But if you too much water, you'll be more feeling, right? You won't take action. So you need to do the action. So the action or the fire animal must come from somewhere. It could be your financial advisor, it could be your family members. And only then this fire animal must set in motion. 它才会转嘛，有些阴阳就出来了咯。So I use it as a more scientific way. I just use the animals with the numerology combined together to look into things. It's just that it helped me to able better understand the client, what is their intention, and I'm able to craft up those questions related to that element.